What the hey? Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is the July 4th Zoo Sunday Night Live, and I tell you what, we're still getting cleaned up and cleared up here. Good golly, let me see what I've got here. Oh my goodness, yeah, you're gonna love this, folks. You're gonna absolutely love this shit. It is the zoo, and what does that mean to you and me? The zoo is your show. We've got up here super chat button, down below in the product or video description. We've got Venmo, CashApp, PayPal, and that gets you onto the screen for super chat donations, and that's what keeps the channel alive, keeps us going. Kind of like this right here. We got a $3 super sticker from John Miskinis, who writes, hello and a belated happy 4th of July, and also a happy 250th anniversary of the United States of America. Miskinis, I tell you what, thank you very much, Big J-Man, for that super sticker. That's how it works, though, folks. You got something to say, a question, a comment, a prediction, an observation, it is up to you. You can put yourself up here. Also, we are the thepreparedmind.club. What that means is you can go to the club. There's no premium to become a club member. There's only a premium if you want to be live Monday through Friday. Otherwise, use the club for shopping, for your food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. That's how that works. Otherwise, it's looking good. I'm telling you, folks. So, Darcy T checked in. And she did a $50 PayPal super chat donation, which means, anytime you guys do a $50 or more super chat, what that means is I get a scotch. In this case, an 18-year Glenfiddich, single malt scotch. Oh, poured that one a little tall for the 4th of July weekend. Anyways, I'm still treating it like 4th of July, even though we're now on the 5th of July. It is the weekend. It is our national holy day, and it's important to me because of what it means. And this is a 250th anniversary Marine Corps shot glass from www.pewter.com. Here's to you, Darcy T. Thank you for always supporting the show every week, every month, every year. Without you guys, the show doesn't work. Without your support, the show doesn't work. Without your support and you being here live, I have to go to work with another job, and I don't need another job. In any event, let's get to Darcy's topic right here. But first, a toast to America, our anniversary, freedom, liberty, and the American way. May the bird, right? May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. Ooh, wow. There's just these hints of the French wine barrel that was aged in. Woo! Okay, here we go. Darcy says, hey, John, hope you had a good 4th of July celebration. And I did. I had a pretty darn good one. And she writes, so, a black woman, here she is right there, the one raising the hand in the air in the front there, that particular black woman there, she won the Benjamin Franklin look-alike contest in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Darcy says, no disrespect to anyone, but are we really this far gone? In other words, are we really this stupid now? And the answer is yes. Not us, as in intelligent, thinking, educated people. We know that's not what Benjamin Franklin looked like. The guy to her right, pointing at her, looks more like Benjamin Franklin than she does by far. But, if it's always about diversity, equity, inclusion, if it's always about pandering to minorities, then that's what we're going to get. That's how far the mighty have fallen, that we've got to put up with this shit. And shit it is. It literally is shit. You know, and my thing, when I answered Darcy, she says, you know, have we really come this far? I said, yeah, you know, this is before I even looked. I said, the rule makers in this country are that stupid. By that stupid, I mean that stupid. They're so stupid that they think we're going to follow them. They think they're leaders and that we're just going to follow their fucking retarded lead. That is not a Benjamin Franklin look like. That is just a black woman who maybe could be congratulated for having fun. Fine, that's fine, but you don't look like Benjamin Franklin. No more than I look like Kunta fucking Kinte. But that's the world we live in, folks. That truly is. That truly is. Now, this is important. And I think it's to discuss our country, 250th anniversary. Literally 250 years ago, this is what the room looked like. This is what the room looked like. The founding fathers meeting in Congress. Now, I do note one thing when I see this picture, and I've always noted it. Always noted this picture. The men are all white. No surprise there. The men are all European. No surprise there. The men all look to be 50 years or older. That's not quite accurate. It's not quite accurate. Our country was fought for by men young and old. But what made a man back then? How old was old enough? Right? I believe men became men around age 14 or 15, and they went to work. But here's the deal. The actual ages of the founding fathers in 1776 was quite different than the way it's portrayed here. Quite different indeed. I'm going to tell you the names, and you think about how old you think of them. Okay, these are the founding fathers I'm going to mention. James Monroe, Aaron Burr, John Marshall, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, John Jay, Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, John Adams, and George Washington. How old were they? Right? Are you ready? You've heard of James Monroe. 18 years old. But we have, you know, today, in today's age, in my age, right? You graduate high school at age 18. At age 18. Okay, we're getting some guesses on the comment section. That is great. Give me your guesses as I go through these guys. James Monroe, 18 years old. Right? The signers of the Declaration of Independence. Those that worked on the Constitution. They did the Federalist Papers. They had the philosophical arguments. And we're supposed to believe we're smarter than them today? Right? James Monroe, 18. Aaron Burr. Right? Aaron Burr fought the duel with Alexander Hamilton. And that was over banking, currency. Aaron Burr, 20 years old. How about this one? John Marshall. Does everyone remember John Marshall? I think he became Supreme Court, maybe even Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And he did the Marbury versus Madison decision, which said that any law, any rule, right, any statute that contradicts the Constitution is null and void. That's it. Super quick. Any rule that violates the Constitution is null and void, period. That John Marshall, 20 years old in 1776. Alexander Hamilton, he's the guy on your $10 bill. 21 years old. James Madison. We've heard of that guy. Right, James Madison. Didn't he write the Federalist Papers? Didn't he take notes and put everything out? Age 25. He's not, they didn't take some political sci, some poli-sci course in college and think that they know every fucking thing, right? These fucking people don't even, these modern punks today don't even know how many states there are, much less where they are. James Madison, 25 years old. Brilliant. Political philosopher. Historian, right? Just, wow. John Jay, 30 years old. Here's another big one, right? Everyone knows this guy. Thomas Jefferson, 33 years old. Was it? Now, here's an old fuck here for you. Thomas Paine wrote Common Sense. The book Common Sense, which we all know isn't all that common, was only 39 years old. John Adams, only 40 years old. And you think of George Washington as the guy on the quarter, the guy on the $1 bill. You know, that's how we think of George Washington. He was only 44 in 1776. By all standards of the day, a mature older gentleman. And he was undoubtedly all those things and more. In fact, there's apparently a movie coming out, Young George. George Washington, when he was a young man, he fought for the English, the British. He was trained militarily. He didn't love the British. In fact, he ended up, having our army kill their fucking army. Our nation, the United States of America, was declared independent, was fought for by the people of, and was, a new government created by brilliant, brave, heroic, patriotic young men. That's it. Doug Bauer says French Indian Wars. Okay, then. He fought for the British in the French Indian Wars. I'll admit it, I am not a huge George Washington early in his life expert. That's fine. But anyways, hopefully it's people get a big, I'm going to be watching the George Washington movie. I really became interested in his story after the Declaration of Independence, being, brought into the revolution, his connections in Europe, his friendships with Marquis de Lafayette, and I think Baron von Steuben from Germany. And he was his faith, the faith he had, was incredible. And the miracles that occurred, like the crossing of the Potomac, his vision as son of the Republic that occurred while at Valley Forge. And before that, he was a surveyor. And Simon says he chopped down a cherry tree. Anyways, these are the men, right? This picture, while it makes them look distinguished, right? The distinguished men, they were much, much younger than that. Much, much younger than that. And it's okay. All right. I've got from our good friend, Chin Music, has done a big old super chat donation. I'm just waiting for him to write something down for me. So as soon as we got you, Chin, we'll get you up on the board. Until then, folks, it is your show. There's a super chat button right up there. I'll get you on the screen just like this down here. And we got more to talk about, a lot more to talk about. Right. Our nation is supposed to be for Americans, about Americans, all about us. Now, everyone should remember the name Joe Kent. He's not a founding father, no doubt. But Joe Kent was, he was in intelligence, counterintelligence, worked for the United States government, the military, and was a CIA analyst, a hotshot, big time guy. And he quit just a few months ago over the United States of America being used as a proxy stool pigeon military for Israel. And he had something to say on this. Now, do I agree with everything Joe says? No. Do I have to? No. Should I? Of course not. Just like you guys shouldn't necessarily agree with anything and everything I say. All we do is share information. We make our own decisions. One of those decisions is to share the internet address. Share the internet address up top, right? Friends, family, loved ones, workers, co-workers, etc. Make sure that they know there are facts out here. There's truth out here. There's information that's worth getting and considering. So Joe wrote, our nation was founded by rejecting a failed system that no longer served we the people. Through their undaunted courage, our founding fathers birthed this nation and created a system that empowers us to replace the government when our leaders fail us. In our lifetimes, we have watched our government drag us into pointless wars to sustain an empire that enriches and empowers only the elites, while the American way of life deteriorates here at home. We are blessed in this. 250 years ago, our founders didn't merely grant us the right to change our government. They made it our duty. We now face an onslaught of propaganda claiming that despite another foolish war in the Middle East and rampant corruption, those in power have our best interests at heart. That is propaganda to believe that shit. This is designed to deceive, provoke, and demoralize us. Don't take the bait. View it all with clear eyes and resolve to change it. This nation is not merely an idea to be reshaped by the selfish whims of those in power, nor is it a failed experiment. This nation is our home, our heritage, and our sacred duty to preserve for future generations. By breaking free from the failed political system that enabled this rot, we can restore our wounded republic. If government refuses to return to its place as servant, we will have little choice but to revoke our consent, remove the entire government apparatus, and replace the system with a constitution that not only recognizes all of our rights, but also has severe accountability and punishment for agents of government that fail us, violate our rights, and ignore their duties. Oh, wait a minute. That last paragraph was actually mine. That was actually mine. I wonder if it sounded like it could have been from Mr. Kent. If government refuses to return to its place as servant, we will have little choice but to revoke our consent, remove the entire government apparatus, and replace the system with a constitution that not only recognizes all of our rights, but also has severe accountability and punishment for agents of government that fail us, that violate our rights, and that ignore their duties. Well, and that's just it. Here we are in all of this, folks. We're up to our necks. So, first off, Joe Kent. Do I trust him? No. Why not? He worked for the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. CIA works with Mossad. That's Israel's CIA. They work hand in hand with MI6 in England, their version of the CIA. So I don't trust him, but did he say anything that I can disagree with strongly? The answer is no. Right? I can't understand. I can't disagree with what he had to say. It is our government. It was created for us, and we are watching evil men bow to the wills, whims, pleasures, and bribery of foreign assets, foreign governments, foreign nations, foreign businesses, foreign banks. It's not good. But I did want to share that to you. It is coming to this. Right? Our nation, as Joe said, is not merely an idea. that can be reshaped. No, a constitutional republic is an organization, a body that is solidly built and cannot be changed on a whim or a concept or with a simple vote from a simple member or branch of the government. It cannot. It just cannot. But this part about replacing the government, the part that I kind of added at the end, if the government refuses to return to its place underneath us as the servant and us as the sovereign, right, we're going to have little choice but to revoke our consent. And if we revoke our consent, if we, you, me, all of us stood up tomorrow, called Washington, and someone answered the phone and we said, my consent is now revoked. Is Washington and politicians going to stop? No, not a fucking chance. So the next part is remove the entire government apparatus. That is going to be a little tricky, right? That is, it's not even a civil war. It's a revolutionary war at that point. You see, that's where some people get a little confused. Revolutionary war, civil war, partisan conflict, or SHTF, they're all different things, right? The Civil War would be one part of the government trying to take over another part of the government, right? The people fighting amongst themselves. When the people fight the government itself, that is called a revolt, not a civil war. Removing the entire government apparatus means, folks, not just the bureaucracy, but Congress, the president, and the Supreme Court. You remove the apparatus, including the bureaucracy. Now there is no government in place. How do you do that? Well, you can go up to Washington, D.C., and you can poke the building with sticks and stones and say, get out. Now, right, the entire government apparatus has been removed. Does that mean that they're going to go away? Or are they going to use the military, use their weapons to come after us in other ways? Like, drones, foreign military, right? It's right. Removing the government apparatus is still no guaranteed. You have to replace the entire system with a new constitution, right? That recognizes all of our rights, just like the old one. That's right, Doug. When the people wish to dissolve its bonds from tyranny, it's right there in the Declaration of Independence. We would have to say, government, you're done. President, Congress, all of you are pieces of shit because you refuse to recognize our rights and obey. Right? That's what happens. Your kids are bad. You take away whatever they've got that's important to them, and they're grounded. Right? You remove the government. I'm not saying kill them. I'm not, in fact, I'm not saying do anything. I'm just discussing it as a topic. When you revoke your consent, then you decide, what are you going to do with everything? I no longer am going to obey you, government. Now I have to decide what I'm going to do about you, government. Remove the entire government apparatus and then replace all these thousands of books. Replace them with the Constitution. Right? And you start again. But I say you put in accountability for any of these communist fucks. Anyone in government violates a right, they go to jail. Attempts to steal our rights using legislation, you go to prison forever. Even come close to an act of treason against the people. Death penalty. Right? There needs to be accountability, period. There is none now. They can pass all the unconstitutional laws they want. Doesn't cost them a dime. They don't get a penalty. You vote them out, you get someone just like him replacing him. We're getting to that time, folks. We're getting to that time in our worlds. Are you prepared? Okay, now we're going to do this. I've got chin music coming up. And he wants to share with us his thoughts. I'm going to put something up on the board, though. There we go. That's right. That fun little picture there. Chin Music did a $50 super chat donation. We're going to start with the quick scotch on that. There it is. I'm going to start with a little quick scotch. $50. Mr. Chin Music, thank you. By the way, that's a Venmo super chat. And I'm going to enjoy the living shit out of this one right here. God bless, Semper Fi. Thank you, Chin, very much. Woo! That'll wake you up. He says, he writes to me, I watched Citizen Vigilante. I'm kind of worried about myself. I found myself wanting him to take care of that entire scum family defending the teenage rapist. It's not going to be long before some judges get a ride to the train station in the USA. Also enjoyed the liberal crash out over the photo of the black girl on the bus in D.C. with all the masked white Supremes. Some lady lost her shit when I responded that it was, quote, the safest bus ride imaginable in D.C. She wasn't harmed or robbed, unlike the Ukrainian girl who got killed while men sat and watched. Yeah, we are not the same. So let's kind of look at what he's talking about. So in the movie Citizen Vigilante, and of course, this here is created by Mr. T. It is a parody, and it's The Prepared Vigilante. It's a parody of that movie. But that movie is #1 around the world. It is showing up everywhere, not just in my X feed, but I turned on television, then it makes recommendations. Television is making recommendations. Crazy stuff. But in that movie, the vigilante becomes the provider of justice, and in another case, protection. There were a bunch of punks picking on someone, and the vigilante stopped them. He took care of a problem with these rapists and the rapist family that supported him, as well as in the movie, they showed one judge, talked about 3 judges being given a ride. Now, I don't think you, Chin Music, need to worry about yourself, because you said, I found myself wanting him to take care of the entire scum family defending the teenage rapist. Well, in the movie, he did. Spoiler alert, plug your ears for 10 seconds. The protagonist in the movie killed the rapist, his sister, his mother, and his father, and then all of his friends that were invited over by using a stealth phone call to get them to show up. They all died. We all wanted it. Everyone did. Why? Because we're murderers? Because we hate Muslims? No. Because we want justice. We want the people of this world to feel safe. And that if something wrong happens, no matter who you are, whether you're a low IQ retarded immigrant who can claim, I'm a low IQ retarded immigrant, you can't sue me, you can't arrest me, you can't jail me, right? From them to the idiot liberals on the street protecting them, to the judges and lawyers protecting them, and the police protecting them and enabling them, all the way up to the politicians at the top who, with their policies created this situation. We want justice for the people and punishment for all of them. So when you say you're worried about yourself because you wanted them to be taken care of, and the movie gave us that, right? That was a vicarious release, right? We live vicariously through that. We're like, finally, justice, but it is just a movie. It is just a movie. And I haven't heard of anyone doing copycat payment over that movie. If anyone's out there giving justice, it's because friends, family, loved ones, their countrymen have been abused and they've had it. All the movie is showing us is its, shall we say, predictive effect. Predictive effect. Get ready, folks. It's like being prepared. If you see this movie and you think that that's going to cause violence, what movie are the fucking Muslims watching? What movie are the judges watching? What movie are the politicians watching? What movie are the police watching that causes them to go, we're going to violate everyone else's rights? We're going to ignore the plight of little girls. We're going to ignore the plight of husbands and fathers. We're going to ignore the plight of everybody because we saw a pro-Muslim movie that is going to make us violate free speech, arrest white people, arrest black people, arrest Hispanic people. If you offend in any way with your language, your Bible, or a pork fucking sandwich, any poor little Muslim. This is not a Muslim country. It never was. Just like it's not a Jewish country. It never was. This has always been a European Anglo-based system of law and order and culture and tradition. Period. Period. You didn't hear anything bad about from the Germans or the Swedes or the Italians or the French when they came to America and they said, hey, you have English common law. We're not going to behave. We're not going to obey your English common law that gives us rights and freedoms, or rather recognizes our rights, recognizes our freedoms. No, they were like, thank you very much. We'll take it because our cultures are similar. But that system of rules and laws gives us a government that recognizes our rights. Now, the Muslims come here. What are they doing with it? They're using the law to complain and then demand from the law that it violate our rights by taking away pork and dogs and women being free and educated. You would think women would be totally against these Muslims. Well, conservative women are. Constitutional women are. The rest of these fuckers, nope. Not even close. These liberal fucks, these commie fucks are absolute shit. Anyways, Chin Music, thank you for getting me all worked up on that one, man. Okay, and here we go. Let's see. It is your show, folks. We got a lot going on here. Okay. Got a lot to talk about. It's your show. If you want to get on the board, just like Chin Music, or get your questions, comments read, kind of like Heidi did a $50 super chat donation through CashApp. Heidi, thank you very much. I'm pouring one right now. Please put something in the comments if you would like me, or you can say Chef's Choice. And I've got a lot of topics. A lot of topics. Yeah. We got a lot of topics. Right here, folks. Thank you, Heidi, very much for the great support. Heidi takes care. Everyone takes care of this channel, takes care of the message. Not so much the messenger, but make sure the message keeps going. Okay. Heidi says, Chef's Choice. Well, first, this chef has got to take care of this. Down the hatch. And Semper Fi. Woo! All right. Let's get into it. What do I want to talk about? I've got this right here. I think this is an appropriate thing. I mean, listen to this stupid shit that is coming out of what was formerly a decent right-wing alternative news. I've looked to a lot of online sites for a long time. Hey, Nikki, a long time. And Gateway Pundit was a great one, but it is now a fucking retard rag for putting up the most ridiculous, stupid shit. It writes, Dana White suggests God himself kept a storm from the UFC event. Now it appears storm actually did split in two around the White House. So they're printing crap. I mean, literally. I mean, look, weather control, whether they're using microwaves, scalar waves, whatever waves, HARP waves, this has been known about all of us since the 1990s. Their book came out in the 1990s called Harps or Angels Don't Play This Harp, HAARP. And it has to do with weather control. And they've been working on weather control, weather modification since the 1950s when the Pentagon, the military industrial complex, decided they think it can be used as a weapon, weaponizing it, either flooding people, droughting people, whipping up hurricanes or even tornadoes, using the weather and the earth as a weapon. So how hard is it for the military to use its incredibly powerful, microwave and other systems to cause clouds over the top of the White House to dissipate, not appear out of nowhere, right? It's not hard. We've seen it. Have we not? Yeah, we have. We noticed, and one of the big tells was when Iran, just a couple months ago, bombed the ever-loving shit out of different U.S. bases that surround Iran in the Middle East. All of a sudden, their drought ended. The weather patterns changed back to the way they used to be, and it rained and it snowed on Iran. Was that because God was happy with Iran? Right? The same way Dinglehopper, Dana White, is suggesting God himself made sure the UFC event was good? Or do you think it has to do with technology? That America, by using its technology on the land of its allies around an enemy, Iran, the Persians, that they have been punishing them with bad weather, droughts to make crops not so good, to make their lives more difficult. No, yeah. Anyways, thank you, Heidi. That topic just fucking frosted my cake when I heard that shit. Johnny Codanger says America's been working on weather manipulation since 1948. First utilized the military weapons on the Ho Chi Minh Trail during Vietnam War, which was through the 60s and the early 70s. They tried flooding the VC, the Viet Cong, ruining the Ho Chi Minh Trail, which was a road that led out of communist China and brought Russian and Chinese weapons, rifles, RPGs, and other munitions and supplies down to the communists to fight in the jungle. Oh, yeah, folks. Oh, yeah. It's all good stuff. Let us continue, if we shall. What is on your mind, guys? What do you want to talk about? We're 40 minutes into the show, and we've got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about going on in the world. Where do we go with this, right? Where do we go with this one? I just picked on the Gateway Pundit. Right, I just picked on the Gateway Pundit. Gateway Pundit is now showing itself to be a pawn of Israel. They're now using Yiddish language intentionally, right? The Gateway Pundit is showing how Jewish it wants to be. And this is what it says, right? The media rag Politico, which is in itself a completely left-wing socialist communist rag, right? The media rag Politico laughably kvetches about America 250 fireworks pollution, fearing Americans won't mask up for the show. Kvetches? You know what that means? That's Jew speak for bitching, complaining, and throwing a fit. Kvetches. I'm now guessing Goyim or us Goy, we need to start speaking Yiddish for God's chosen people. More America culture, less of the rest of the world, please. Less Somali, less Pakistan, less Israel, less Ukraine, less everyone else. More America. Kvetches. Just unfucking believable. It's just fucking disgusting. These fucking people. There's no end to it. There's just no end to it. Okay, let us continue if we shall. Yeah, this is great. We've got all kinds of shit going on. In Southern California, those crazy, rascally teen takeovers. Aren't they adorable? I love that. There was absolute pandemonium in LA. At Newport Beach, folks, a very nice city. Kind of like when these scumbags tried taking over in Florida, Clearwater Beach, right? Newport Beach is extremely nice, right? Non-residents show up. Non-residents, these crazy teens take over. They chase away decent people who don't want anything to do with their shit. They start their street brawls. They break into riots. And then they break into looting of stores on July 4th. July 4th, the 4th of July. Grocery stores were destroyed. Bars were closed. Beaches were closed. Only violence, only justified violence will work to stop unlawful violence. That is a fact. It is undisputed. This is how it works. When someone does something violent, unless they meet with violence, they will continue to do whatever the fuck they want. Period. Same with government. The only time government stops doing things it's not supposed to is when we react with massive protests and violence. It's happened before, folks. The people of this country taking up arms have put their government back in place, just not on a national level yet. But the voting every 2 years and every 4 for presidents was supposed to act as a sort of revolt, revolutionary change opportunity for us to correct government, so we don't have to have a blood in the streets revolt. Well, we've now learned that without government losing its, well, shall we say, its control, without government being forced to recognize our sovereignty as people over its authority as servant, right? We haven't failed. It's just, here we are. This is what's going on. Unbelievable. And also in South, is it South or North Carolina? Someone put in the comments, just like Newport Beach, we had a teen takeover / riot / looting / mobbing. And I watched a video of that. And you know what I saw? Yeah, I saw cops getting waylaid by these teens. And in particular, a blonde woman cop getting her ass kicked. Not a good situation, period. Not a good situation, period. We're in big trouble with what's going on in this country. You know, we're in big trouble. We've got these teens taking over. They haven't even turned loose the foreigners, the radical Palestinian lovers and Muslims and all these crazy fucks and BLM and Antifa. They're not out there yet. So far, this is just ghetto, stupid teen takeovers. But this is what's going on, folks. They are scared. They're not scared of the teens, the government. They're scared of us. They're scared of law-abiding, tax-paying Americans. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, or Asian, it doesn't matter. They're afraid of us. They're not turning loose their mechanized weapons on the teen takeovers or on little Somalia that are popping up here and there, and little Sharia law enclaves. No, they're preparing. Yeah, Cracked Egg says they're afraid of us uniting. They are. The government is afraid of us, Americans, uniting. We may not all agree 100% on everything, but if we agree that government needs to go and we need to put a constitutional republic back in place, right, this is what they have in mind for us. I remember 10 years ago, folks, 10 years ago, I started saying, you know what? They're coming up with a way to hurt us, punish us, keep us in line. And I remember in particular, one gentleman said it's not going to happen. I said, they're going to replace cops. They're going to replace them with robots. And now we're seeing it. See, back then they were showing bipedal, that is Terminator type looking robots that were just starting to operate. They had cables and all kinds of shit hooked up to them for power and control and understanding, right? Now they don't need those. Elon Musk has a robot. Honda has robots. These are DARPA projects, right? These are DARPA projects, military industrial complex projects. And Boston Dynamics was working on a four-legged dog beast thing. Back then, 10, 12 years ago, it had a gasoline motor running in it for power, to power the four-legged robot dogs that can be mounted with guns. They can run 30 miles an hour. They nicknamed that one the Cheetah. Yeah, it's kind of like Skynet, totally. You know, they're building this army. They have bipedal, two-legged Terminator type robots now that can do backflips. They can fucking dance. They can dance in unison with one another. You're telling me they can't walk down the street, use AI facial recognition, tie into all the flock cameras, and then bring drones overhead once they've identified a person they don't like or they want to arrest or they want to kill or anything? They don't need cops. They don't need cops. We'll have ourselves a full-fledged 5-alarm fire of going to war with their fucking drone systems. Now, they can't afford to have the power go out. Surprise! Just like AI data centers have to have power, have to have water, have to have communications hooked up to the internet. Without that, it's no good. They've got to keep power going to the cities or have independent power for their systems. For their systems. They want to keep us in line and dead if we don't stay in line. In the meantime, we're going to deal. We're going to deal with these little fucking hoods. We're going to deal with these dumbass Sharia law motherfuckers. And you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jihad Joe, these fucking clowns right here. Right? They'll put their crappy, shitty biologics out there, hoping that they can keep us in line and that they don't have to use their drone army until it's completely ready. Well, I'm pretty sure it's close to being ready. All right, here we are. And guess what? We got coming to the stage, $5 super chat. Big Dan the Man Erickson checking in. And he says, I was 15 years old at our 200th birthday, right? The 200th birthday for the country, the United States of America. He was 15. I was 6 in 1976. Dan continues, 65 years old at her 250th birthday, and it was the loudest and longest I remember. Had to take a nap today. That is amazing, dude. It sounds like where you were at, you guys beat. You guys beat the 1976 fireworks. Let me put up here. I've got a couple that I did. This right here. When I was watching the fireworks, this was the show I was watching. It went on for 23 minutes. Right? That's the one I went to see with thousands of other people. Now, interestingly, from that vantage point, you can see this. Come on, there we go. There we go. And I'll take this here. You can see the fireworks that were going on behind what I just showed you. You can see to the left, another one, to the left, another one, to the left, another one. There were 8 different fireworks shows going at once along the west coast of Florida. And the west coast, man, that goes from Naples all the way up to Pensacola. I mean, there's places where there's no cities, of course, but everywhere there's a city, massive fireworks, massive, huge displays. There were city displays, and there were privately funded shows. The one I was at was privately funded, right? Because the area I was in, the government was saying, we're not doing one. Fucking unbelievable. A lot of these governments. Oh, we don't want to set fire to anything. It's like you do them over the Gulf. Nothing's going to catch. It's fucking city idiots, folks. City idiots. They're not going to go away. They're just not. They're not going to go away. All right. Thank you, Big Dan, for the great super chat donation. I appreciate it. That's what keeps us on and broadcasting continuously. Okay. Without you guys, the show doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Now, this came up. This was interesting to me. Look at that. That's Mount Rushmore in gold. Right? Who do you got there? Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, and there he is, Donald Trump. Donald Trump. That is Trump posted the video featuring this gold Mount Rushmore with, of course, the addition of President Trump. Is this Trump ego? Is Trump ego? Is this clues about the use of gold, the revaluation of gold, the release of gold, the United States of America saying we're going to go on a gold bond system, a gold-backed funding system? Or is this Trump, the megalomaniac, on acid? That's the question. That's the question, right? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Trump posted that video. And he's also serving Mount Rushmore cookies with his face on them on Air Force One. So why would Trump do that? Why would he make a gold Mount Rushmore with him on it? I know he loves gold. He's talked about gold. His Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, called himself a gold bug. Judy Shelton, who was nominated at one point to be the chairman of the Federal Reserve, she's talked about how she spoke with Trump about a gold-backed 50-year Treasury bond to fund the government. And everybody in the world is talking about revaluing gold because a year ago, Trump and Bessent talked about monetizing our federal assets. In other words, doing something with the gold, making it so it can, well, be useful instead of just sitting in a vault, if it's even there, of course. All right, folks, I'm glad everyone's here. 300 people live. Share that internet address up there at the top. Share the address so people can, well, wake up. People can see what the hell is going on. We've got a lot going on, folks. We have a lot going on. What do you guys want to talk about? Your show. It is your show. Okay. Now, let's see this. Who am I missing here? Okay, I got that message. Thank you very much there again, Mr. Chin Music. So, yeah, the whole Trump ego thing. And kind of fueling that is this. Trump, who may have Benjamin Netanyahu come back to the White House again. Trump, just in case Netanyahu shows up, told the media, Netanyahu, quote, knows who the boss is. Netanyahu knows who the boss is. So I found this little artist depiction of Trump walking a dog, like he's holding the leash, but it's actually Bibi who controls both Trump and the dog by using the leash. right? But here's the thing. Trump says Netanyahu knows who the boss is, but Trump didn't say who that boss is. If Netanyahu's the boss, then Netanyahu knows who the boss is. Is that what Trump meant? Or did Trump mean I'm the boss? Mr. Trump is the boss, and you, Bibi, know it. He didn't say, right? Why would you say something so arrogant or so necessary, but not be clear about it? Also, the question I have, especially on our 250th anniversary, 4th of July weekend, why should this even be a fucking question for America? Why is this even a fucking question? Who's the boss? America. Huge economic powerhouse. America, been around for 250 years as its own nation and over 400 years as colonies. America, huge military powerhouse. America, huge. Israel is a little dirty genocidal state that was stolen from the Palestinian people. Why is it even a question who the boss is? The reason it's a question is Trump does protest too much. Again, why would Trump say this unless it's said as a protest to the world who thinks King Bibi owns Trump as his own bitch, his own little goyim bitch? Or wait, did Trump convert to did he convert to Talmudism? Is Trump Jewish now? Right? We're not being told the whole story. What do you guys want to talk about? Super chat button. Super chat button's right up there. And then down below is, Venmo, CashApp, PayPal. That's how you guys support the channel, and I get you on the screen. I'll make you famous. It's Sunday Night Live, the July 4th Zoo, and here we all are. Unbelievable world, folks. What is going on in our world? It's time. It's time for the world to wake up. It's time for the world to wake up. Now, Spencer Pratt. You guys know who this guy is? Spencer Pratt. He's wearing a t-shirt in this picture, Anti-Socialist Social Club. He has been going after everybody who's a communist. Good. Right? He's not afraid. Spencer Pratt watched the LA fires, the Palisade fires, burn everything down. Governor Gavin Gruesome Newsom and his wife set up fundraisers that didn't help a single person. I believe they're in lawsuits over that. The government absolutely failed on every fucking level for that fire. No water, no personnel, a fucking lesbian bunch of fire chief idiots who know jack shit, right? Government failed. So Spencer Pratt decided he's going to run for office, run for mayor. And at the last second, after the last second, after the voting was done, miraculously, the third place candidate who dropped out after just a few hours of voting because she knew there's no fucking way she could even dare come in second. Somehow she surpassed Spencer Pratt. So now Los Angeles has two communists that'll run in the main election coming in November. Right? This was a primary election, and a black communist and a Hindu communist beat Spencer Pratt, a white American. Yeah. Here we are. So Spencer Pratt, the former LA mayoral candidate, who was cheated very badly, gave a stunning, nasty rebuke of communism and Zoran Mandami in his Independence 4th of July Day message. Essentially, I'm not going to say essentially. I'm going to give you some quotes. I'm going to give you Spencer Pratt, who's had enough of this shit. So when Chin Music is like, I don't know, man, I'm feeling on the edge. Okay, none of us are on the edge. We're just pissed. We're not dangerous. We're watching, we're concerned, and we know who we are and we know our rights. Don't see, this is what they want. The government, the bad guys, the controllers, the puppet masters, the financiers and funders of all the fucking evil. They want us to be scared that, well, any second, the door's going to get kicked in. The cops are going to come in and arrest us for thinking the impure thought of saving our countries. Right? So it's not just me saying it. It's not just Chin Music. Now we have Spencer Pratt, who has been very public on all mainstream media. Right? This is what he had to say to Zohram Mamdani. Fuck you, communist. This is our home and you can't have it. Kami Mandami's ancestors. That's right. He's not an American, folks. The piece of shit Zohram Mamdani from New York City, the mayor, was not born in America. I think he lied. And a lot of people have said he lied on his application for citizenship. He's not an American. He doesn't know American history. He couldn't give a fuck. He's a Muslim and a communist. And he sucks ass on the Zionists. Literally, he sucks up to them. Very secretly, very quietly, but he's there sucking up to them. So, Spencer Pratt. Oh, yeah, Thomas Massey got fucked too. Oh, I got some good news on that. You hold that fucking thought right there. I'll get back to that, Northern Hillbilly. Okay, back to Spencer Pratt. Stay focused. Kami Mandami's ancestors never bled for this country. He has no history here, so he has no attachment to our home. He has no place to rewrite our history and lecture us about what our country stands for. Fucking absolutely correct. So Spencer continues. We aren't cowards. We don't turn our backs on the painful memories because they make us who we are. Be proud of our country, damn it. We all had to sit and watch the vile commie mayor sit on the wrong side of our founding father's desk and try to lecture us about our own history. Why? Because history is what anchors you. It's what makes us attached to something. Erasing history is how you demoralize people, how you unmoor them and detach them from their society so you can take it from them and rewrite it in your image. Communism is an evil, anti-human religion, so it must destroy what makes us human. The communist destroys your history so he can take your home and rebuild it in his image. That's why it's your patriotic duty to celebrate today unashamed. It's okay to love America. Not only is it okay to love America, it's necessary to love America. Our history is violent. Fuck yeah, it is. And that's why we love it. Not only is it a miracle that this radical experiment itself, governance, even survived past 1776, but we are the champions of the world. Be proud of that. Right. So maybe you don't love Spencer Pratt's politics. Maybe you do. Maybe you agree with half of his shit. But when you talk about our country, our rights, our history, and it being ours, and that we built this country, we founded this country, we liberated this country, we, meaning you, me, our ancestors. My ancestors were here in the early 1700s. All the way through the revolution, all the way up to current times. Maybe someone's family got here in the 1800s. But they've been here. They took the oath. They took the oath as a citizen. They took it seriously, and they integrated into this country. They learned the laws. They learned the language. They learned the customs, and it became their country, not trying to convert our country into theirs. And that's what these scumbags are doing. And he's absolutely right about communists. It is anti-human. It is an atheistic socio-religious control system. Right? That's what it is. Communism is an atheistic, non-God, pseudo-religious control system. Same with Islam, or rather similar to Islam, which is not a religion, but it is a systematized takeover set of rules, couched in, hidden behind bullshit morality and guidance for them to go to war with everybody, lie, cheat, steal, rape, dominate, take over, and then run it. It is not a religion. It is an anti-religion, right? A religion should be something that is good. It holds everyone up as free, independent, right? To worship as you see fit, right? A religion would say, be good to each other, be good to yourself, don't hurt others. But what are the major religions around the world doing to America? We're trying to take it over. Whether you're talking about the Zionists and the globalists, or whether you're talking about Islam and the Mohammedans, they're trying to take over our country. Spencer Pratt, I think he did a damn fine job of explaining that shit. Communism is an evil anti-human religion. Islam is an evil anti-human religion. Zionism is an evil anti-human religion. It's a bunch of sick shit. Now, I want to say thank God Washington, D.C. didn't fuck up our 4th of July. I want to remind everyone, right, what I saw, what I had, was just an incredible fireworks show. Right. The United States of America officially shattered the world record with, just in Washington, D.C. alone, 850,000 different explosions, right? Fireworks. Quote, the largest fireworks show in history on our 250th national birthday. Right. The fireworks display I watched afar was from different cities, and they're all spectacular. They range, folks, from 23 minutes, because I timed them, to 35-minute long fireworks shows with just massive multiple explosions. It was beautiful. This is our country, not theirs. This country doesn't belong to Israel or Ukraine or Iran or Russia or China or the World Economic Forum, the globalists, the non-national international bankers. It's our country. It's our country. And I'm not going to let it fucking be stolen, period. I'm not. I see. Yeah, I did. I see that Blue Cord Devil's in the house. Excellent. There's a bunch of people here in the house, folks. It is a great Sunday. It is July 5th, but I'm still kind of up on July 4th, right? There's a lot of things that happened on our July 4th. A lot of things that happened today. I mean, get this. Did you guys see this? Have you seen this picture? Well, this picture actually has nothing to do. I just used it symbolically, right? A bunch of foreign idiots with swords. Coney Island, New York. I just talked about Ma'am Danny, didn't I? Picture this. 8 people were injured on July 4th in Coney Island. They said it was done by shooting. Hello, soft kitty. But I wanted to put this picture up here. These are foreign fuckheads. If they can get guns, they'll use them. If they can get swords, they'll use them. If they can get knives, they'll use them. It doesn't matter. But guess what? Ma'am Danny, Zoran Mamdani, the non-American who's the mayor of New York City. He said this, almost it sounds like a fucking joke. He says, we will not tolerate it. 8 people were injured in shootings. Right? People are getting stabbed. People are getting shot. People are getting hacked. People are getting beat. Well, he's not going to tolerate shooting, but he and New York City is going to have to be tolerating Muslim takeover, Muslim shootings, Muslim stabbings, Muslim kidnappings, Muslims druggings, and Muslim rapings. That's what he will tolerate, just not shootings, right? Right, Zoran? I'm going to tell you guys this in all honesty, sincerity, no bullshit. I'm going to enjoy watching these creeps, these cretins, these un-American traitorous pieces of shit. I'm going to enjoy watching them scatter like cockroaches and get subsequently squished like cockroaches for what they've done to this country. What they've done to this country. It's our country, not theirs. Good golly. Folks, super chat button's right up there. That's how you get your thoughts and comments onto the screen. It's up to you. It's your show. It's your channel. It's Sunday Night Live. It's the Zoo. It is the July 4th show. Sunday Night Live. What do you want to discuss? What do you want to discuss? Now, Joe Biden, folks, posted not a great, beautiful 4th of July message. Joe Biden posted an anti-American message. He is an absolute piece of shit. And Democrats continue, folks, to prove time and time and time again that they hate America. They hate freedom. They hate all manner of civilized decency. Just it's absolutely incredible. All right, shall I read Joe Biden's? I think I should. I think I should read what Joe Biden had to say. 250 years ago, a group of Americans signed their names to a piece of parchment and made a promise no nation had ever made before, that we're all created equal, endowed by our Creator with unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That sounds right. Sounds good, right? Sounds good. You know, but then they say insulting, absolutely insulting shit. They just do. Nope. Big Dan the Man's checking in. Okay. Anyways, Joe Biden, they continue to insult us. They'll say something complimentary, and then they'll say the most insane shit. Calling America an idea. It is not an idea. It's a nation. Right? America is a nation. It is a nation of free people. Right? But calling it an idea, a fluid idea, an idea that can be changed, something that is a result of the current political whim. Right? And everybody that was paying attention shit on him for it. Right? And also, of course, the odds of Joe Biden writing anything is about 0.001%. The guy is a mumbling, fumbling idiot. That's not going to change. It isn't. And he called our country a democracy, not a republic. Right? It's a republic. Democracies can be voted and changed by a majority of people. A republic is strong and has solid rules. But Joe and his band of merry traitors will say anything. And if they can get people to read it, agree with it, even repeat it, they're fine with that. They're good with that. Anyways, now I talked about Spencer Pratt getting screwed, right, in his election. Thomas Massey was fucked too. But there's a kind of a silver lining right here. A silver lining. There's some silver right there for you. But the silver lining is Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell appears to be dying. He's in the hospital. Oh, yeah, he's in the hospital. But his wife, who is a Chinese national, flew back to China, presumably to speak with the Chinese leadership over there about what to do. We've lost our man that was in control of the Senate. And by the way, the guy who's now in control of the Senate, Senate Leader John Thune, well, apparently his wife is a Democrat, his daughter's a Democrat, but the only way he could get elected is by calling himself a Republican. Yeah, he certainly acts like a fucking Democrat. Has not given us our SAFE Act to protect our voting in our country, of which Trump today said, you know, if we don't stop this, if we don't fix our elections, the Republican Party is dead. Fuck the Republican Party. The entire country and our Constitution is dead if the Democrats get back in, because they're promising to load the Supreme Court with as many people as they can appoint, make Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico states for the purpose of having 2 senators, so that'd be 4 more, plus representatives for the House of Representatives, probably give them another 6, maybe 8. They're trying to load the political system so you and I, free Americans who pay taxes and make this fucking country work, can't stop big cities like Washington, D.C. or San Francisco or L.A. or New York from fucking over the rest of the country. That's what they do. But here's the good news. Here's the silver lining. If Turtles Mitch McConnell dies, and I think they're trying to hide the fact that he's either dying or dead. If he dies, Thomas Massie can step in immediately and run for Senate in Kentucky as a U.S. senator, not just a House of Representative congressman. That would be a turn of events because, well, AIPAC and other Israeli Front, Israeli First organizations and individuals contributed over $30 million. Not for the presidency. $30 million for one congressional seat. There's 435 congressional seats. 435. And they spent over $30 million. If you, well, they can't, fuck it. Anyways, if Massie gets put right back into the Senate, then they just wasted over $30 million trying to get rid of him. And then that would be great for him to be there. I presume that he would finish out the rest of whatever term, whether he's got 6 years, 4 years, or 2 years left that Turtles McConnell's has. Any event, folks, it's going to get interesting. It's going to get interesting. And now we've got Big Dan the Man back with another $5 Super Chat donation. And this is how you get on the board, folks. Super Chat button up there. Oh, be sure and thumbs up and subscribe. You've got to be a subscriber to comment. You got to be a subscriber for 5 minutes minimum to put comments in. Yes. And hit the share button or just share the internet address, period. Spread the word. People need to wake up. We have enemies, foreign and domestic. We have traitors amongst us. We have anti-Americans, anti-freedom. We have communists running loose. Dan says, got everyone in my family except my 86-year-old mother to watch civilian vigilante. Right? Not the prepared vigilante. That one's not ready for the airwaves yet. That's not. But he got everyone to watch it except his 86-year-old mom. And he said, talking of his family, they mostly liked it with some comments on a few parts. That's a win. Indeed, that is a big win. Now, see, folks, this is the type of quiet, persuasive, intelligent type mental recruiting that we want to talk about. That's how you talk to people. Hey, watch this movie. I want to hear what you have to say. He got everyone except his 86-year-old mother, who probably is not caught up with, to the extent all of us are, current events and what's going on in the world and why it's happening and who's doing it and what are the consequences. It takes a lot to understand that, well, if you're a little girl, you're getting raped by a Muslim because, well, the World Economic Forum told the European Union to let in a bunch of rapists who justify their rapes, their murders, their theft, their fraud with their religion. Someone who's 86 probably isn't going to catch all that unless you're really paying attention, right? But for the rest of us, hell yeah, we're paying attention. And damn good work, Dan. I mean, geez, that is terrific. And folks, now, look, when I watched Citizen Vigilante, it cost $6.99. I felt that movie, based on what I had heard, what I had read by watching the trailer, that was going to have an impact on the world. And I needed to watch it, understand it, and share as much as I could. And it's been free, I think 2 days or 3 days after I watched it and paid for it. So thank you for the super chats, because that helps me, like I say, buy memberships. It helps me buy subscriptions. It helps me get into news sites that you have to pay money for because I want the information now. I don't want to wait 2, 3, 4 days to hear it from someone else and then bring it to you guys. What good does that do you? I mean, it educates you, but it's a little behind, right? So anyways, that's what does it. You guys support me, and then I find this shit and make sure I talk about it a lot. Yep. Right. When he says they mostly liked it with some comments on a few parts, I'm sure some people didn't like the fact that police were being killed. Even though the citizen vigilante said, you guys are allowing girls to be raped. You guys are actually having rape nights with the rapists. You guys, the police in England or Germany or anywhere in Europe, you are the bad guys in this because you're not stopping the bad guys and you're punishing, arresting. The judges are prosecuting and imprisoning people who stand up to fraudsters, thieves, murderers, criminals, and rapists of all sort, drug dealers, etc. So yeah, I'm sure some people felt it was kind of gruesome. It was realistic. The movie gets starting off, spoiler alert, turn off your ears for 10 seconds. Woman gets stabbed in the neck, blood squirting everywhere. Yeah, but that's what's happening. That's what happened to little Irene Zaskruska, right? She got stabbed in the neck, and the guy that did it said, kill that white girl. Right? It's about white extermination. It's about white replacement. It's about bringing in stupid people to replace us so that the population is full of dumb fucking people, and they just get rid of them. But first, they got to get rid of the people who work hard, who are intelligent, right, who are civilized and productive. And that is in Europe and America, Canada, Australia, Japan, right? That is all of the white people. And that is all of the brown and black people that have jobs that produce and are smart and intelligent, right? They're trying to kill us and replace us with the low IQ, inbred retards who will believe anything their local imam tells them, their local, well, the Muslim version of a reverend or priest. Anyways, Big Dan, nice work. Nicely done, sir. Nicely. And Patty Hamilton steps in with a supporting $2 super chat donation. Thank you, Patty, very much. Every dollar you guys toss at me is great. It makes sure that we stay on the air. Well, and me not having to go to work at a third job because nobody wants a third job. Nobody. Now I need to follow up one more time with something else that has happened. Something we should all be aware of because it is part and parcel to, it is indicative of, it's illustrative of what's going on. Now, you guys probably are familiar with what was happening. Okay, so here, this is literally, I'm going to go over a lot of the details. This is Caitlin Clark, white girl in the Lesbians NBA, the LNBA. She's been assaulted and attacked for years now, getting pushed down, kicked, beaten, slammed, etc., injured for being literally the best in the league. The refs don't blow the whistles. They don't eject people. They don't fine the players their fucking salary. They don't eject them out of the league altogether for what they're doing. But this is the absolute best I could find. And I wanted to leave this picture here for you guys. And I'm going to describe to you what's going on. A military interrogator who is also a body language expert, right? He wanted to speak about what's going on with this beating that has occurred. Now he says, here's his quote, "You can see the intent. Her eyes lock on her target. Her lower teeth show rage." Now, both the video and the pictures that are available on the internet are no longer available. Okay, so I just want you to go. You can't see her lower jaw sticking out as she's punching or putting her fist to Caitlin's throat. See, they cut her head off at that point in time. The picture I put up a couple of days ago or several days ago showed the number 25's face and the look on her face as she did this. They aren't showing that anymore. You can't see it in a video. The video literally condenses and then covers her face, so you only see what you see in this picture over here. It's fucking ridiculous. These are a bunch of racist, jealous, fucking thugs playing sports, showing America how if you're white, you're supposed to allow this shit and not complain. Anyways, body language expert, this guy I was saying, his name is Greg Hartley. He says, this is a really easy one. You can see intent in the woman who goes straight for her as you watch her eyes lock on her target, as you see her lower teeth show rage and you see her moving with all of her energy, direction, and focus to this person, meaning Clayton Clark. She balls her fist up at the last minute and presses it on her neck. But she's a target. Look at it. You can't miss it. Right? My thing is, you don't have to be an expert to see this, but I'm glad an expert has addressed it. You don't have to be an expert to see the intent and anger, do you? Well, again, that's why they're removing the face of the girl doing the assault in video and in still pictures. And I looked, folks. Now, maybe I needed to look harder, but I found all kinds of pictures that were just like these right here. That's it. Right? They don't want you to see the nasty snarl on the chick's face as she's putting her fist into her throat. This is a game of basketball. This isn't mixed martial arts. You're not allowed to hit in the throat, I don't think. Right? You're not allowed to do this in basket. It's fucking basketball. Anyways, the media, in my opinion, has now scrubbed all videos and pictures that show the fist in the throat while this bitch has a violent stare down in her face. Right? You can get a picture of the girl's face like here. You can't, it's blurry. You can get one or the other, just the fist in the throat, but you can't get a good, clear picture of all of it. They've removed it, of her staring in Caitlin's face with her fist against her throat. It's that obvious. And the media can't allow us. The narrative has to be white people bad, white people racist, and this is okay. Right? Because, the very first picture I used in video did have the full frame. Now all videos zoom in and they get fuzzy to remove all of the offensive portions so that you can't see it all in one shot. Now, I don't know who it was that said years and years ago, social engineering, John, that's bullshit. You can't engineer society. Really? Everything is engineered. The media, the government engineers everything to get us to follow and believe and support their story, aka the narrative. That's what this is about. Being good sheep. Now, I'm going to give you an example of social engineering gone wrong, gone bad. Right? For example, here we go. Social engineering. Before the world knew that St. George Floyd was a criminal with an incredibly violent police record, including putting a gun at the belly of a pregnant woman while he did a home invasion robbery with his homies. Before the world knew what a violent piece of shit he was, the media tried presenting him as a hapless black dude just living life who was being harassed by the police and then ultimately murdered. Well, some information came out when we started to understand and get some truth. Get some facts about St. George Floyd. So after they couldn't convince us he was just minding his own business, he didn't do nothing. Next, George Floyd, though, well, a criminal, he had a criminal past, but hey, Derek Chauvin, the cop that murdered him, George Floyd actually worked with him, right? As a bouncer. He worked with the cop that's been accused of his murder. I think that was supposed to make us respect St. George Floyd, almost a police officer, as a bouncer. We're supposed to make us respect him for having a job. And that the cop, Derek Chauvin, was a big asshole for killing a man that he worked with as a colleague. Right? That's the next story I remember being told I needed to believe. Well, the narrative, the social engineering, getting us to go, yeah, everyone in the black community, and I guess the Hispanic community and any other brown community was allowed to riot and burn and loot and ultimately murder other people because they're angry, while the rest of us are supposed to be locked down. Are you fucking kidding me? Right? That was the narrative. That was the story. That's the social engineering. And most people around the country did just that. They backed down. They obeyed the media and government narrative. They stayed in their homes while these people were allowed out because their social anger and frustration at the fact that a criminal piece of shit who was on enough fucking drugs to kill a horse, who was committing another fucking felony, died of a drug overdose in the hands of the police. But that doesn't, no, don't think about that. We need to get out and riot because our feelings are hurt over that, right? So yeah, we did. We learned that St. George Floyd was high as a fucking kite on fentanyl, enough to literally kill a horse, and that he was passing counterfeit money, probably being used for drugs as well, before he started resisting arrest for at least 5 minutes. They put him in the car and he kept fighting and squirming and got out onto the ground. They finally had to jump on him to restrain him. George Floyd is a big motherfucker physically. And Derek Chauvin, who doesn't look like much of a man to me, had his knee on the back of him to help hold him down so he'd quit squirming along the fucking ground and getting under the tires of the cop car. And I watched this. They had him outside, stood up. George Floyd had his back against a brick wall, and he was talking to the police, complaining he couldn't breathe. Police hadn't arrested him yet. They were just talking to him, asking him questions. I can't breathe, man. I can't breathe. That was the fentanyl killing him. Fentanyl was cutting off his oxygen supply because that's what it does. Tightens the chest, right? Losing muscular control, diaphragm control. Crazy shit. You see, this is interesting. I want to put this up here, this comment. This comment's important. Trapper Bob Patriot says, I'm not a Tyrant Cop fan, but the Floyd dude wasn't murdered. Now, see, the reason or the way you wrote this almost intimates like, man, I have to justify what I'm going to say. I don't love these cops, but, you know, Floyd wasn't murdered. Right? We say things like that because we don't want to be offensive to other people. You know, I'm no super fan of cops. No one is, not the bad ones anyways. Right? We're all fans of the good cops that do good things. We're against the bad cops that do bad things. But see, we have to qualify things because of a social narrative, a media and political narrative that's out there that causes us to say that, to qualify it. And again, I do this all the time. Trapper Bob, I'm not picking on you. I just think this is a great example of social engineering. We're supposed to have to pick and choose our words lightly and carefully so we don't offend anybody. Well, I'll tell you what. Derek Chauvin looks like a fucking asshole. His body language, the look on his face, he looks like a fucking dick. He looks like every asshole cop from asshole cop videos that you see out there. Not the good cop that's smiling, doing his job, or saving people and saving lives. Right? The asshole, he looks like him, but that doesn't make him guilty. But that's what they want us to do, is try and go, oh, you know, look, I'm not a bad guy, but I got something to say. Yeah, Floyd wasn't murdered. Floyd died of fucking drug overdose. The fucking coroner, the paperwork said that. Somehow, Derek Chauvin was still found guilty. Why? The fucking narrative. The social engineering narrative coming out of the media and the politicians. They didn't want more rioting, so they threw a cop in jail. I thought it was worth any amount of money to save just one life, right, during COVID. If we could just save one life, it's worth shutting down the economy, shutting down the highway, shutting down businesses going out of business, right? family businesses being destroyed, small towns being wiped out because only Home Depot and Lowe's and large supermarkets were allowed to stay open. Everyone else had to shut because, it was so dangerous. Fucking ridiculous. Right? Fucking ridiculous. Anyways, Trapper Bob, thank you for allowing me to use your comment as well as my own thoughts to say, yeah, they want us to talk nice and to always be cautious. Always. That's social manipulation, aka social engineering. It's what they do to try and keep us from explaining to others, helping others see, helping others hear, helping others learn, right? That's why I say hit the button up there, right? Copy, paste the internet address for this video, or hit the share button down below and share with friends, family, loved ones, co-workers, your boss, your employees, doesn't matter. Share it with people. Get them to wake up, right? I speak a little more clearly, a little more loudly, a little more plainly about these things because I want people to not be afraid. Not be afraid to speak up about someone they see that is bad, a criminal, evil, what have you, right? It's just like there's so many examples, but that's what's going on. They want to control us. They want you to shut the fuck up. They want you to give up. Look what they've done to all of England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. People are afraid to stand up while Muslims walk through the fucking street with swords, waving them everywhere. What kind of shit is that? I mean, if I in America, the United States of America, down here in the great state of Florida, I'm allowed to carry armed. Right? This is my EDC. See that thing right there? Hammer back, round chambered, safety on, 24/7. If I were to go out in public and see those people waving swords, what do you think they'd say to me? I bet one of them would come over and fucking threaten me because I'm not a Muslim and I don't look like a Muslim. I don't act or smell like one either. But what if someone said, fuck Christianity, fuck Jesus, we hate you. We're going to take over your country. We're going to rape your wife. We're going to rape your sister. We're going to rape your mother. What if I said something like the fuck you will, right? I'm going to fucking bury you with a pound of bacon shoved up your ass. And that's just the nice things I'm going to do to you. You think they'd come after me with swords? You think they would threaten me more to the point where I felt that I was in great bodily harm or injury, chance of that? Florida, I can stand my ground. I don't have to run away if I'm not committing a crime. If someone threatens me, I can use deadly force if they're using a deadly threat. In other words, gunfight at the OK Corral can happen very easily. And I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about everybody in the state of Florida or other states that have similar rules and where the rights of the people are respected and the rights of fucking foreign fucks is not. Right? They don't have special rights. They're fucking foreigners. They shouldn't have any rights other than basic human rights, period. They don't have a right to be in my country. They certainly don't have a right to threaten me and rape all the women in my life and your lives and all of ours, right? This is the crazy shit. This truly is some crazy shit going on. These people are dangerous as fuck. They want us to be quiet. That's why England and Scotland and Ireland, right? They started being really quiet. And then the police started showing up. And we heard about this a couple years ago. You're writing stuff on Twitter and social media, and it's upsetting people. And if you give somebody anxiety, that's a crime. So then they're arresting them. They're making them take down their posts. They're putting them in fucking jail. They're not even allowed now to wave a British flag or any flag of any country. All through Europe, same story. Up in Canada, same story. Australia, same story. And they're trying it now in America. They're trying to silence people, trying to silence Christians and keep people from flying the American flag. They're trying it. And until you stand up and see that as social engineering using guilt and media to fuck us over until we stand up, they're going to keep pushing it. Are you prepared to keep pushing it. We have to, because if we don't, folks, they're going to take over. England right now is in big fucking trouble. Ireland is burning the homes, cars, and mosques, but not fast enough, in my opinion. Not fast enough, because they're starting to act out back. Right? This is our 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, followed shortly after that victory with our Constitution. 250 years, folks. We told a king to go fuck himself. Today, you can't tell your neighbor to go fuck themselves if they want to get in your face. You can't tell another religious zealot that is waving a fucking sword in your face to go fuck himself. How far the mighty have fallen. How weak now are the warriors who've turned in their swords for plowshares to plow the ground and give the harvest to people that hate them. It's unbelievable. It's unfucking believable. Psychological conditioning. You got it. There's Blue Cord Devil. Pig snout. Yeah, last thing you want is to get your ass kicked by me and have a pound of bacon shoved in your ass and you thrown in a fucking hole in the ground. It's coming though, folks. The fight is coming. That's why I say that's why it's the Prepared Mind channel. And if you want, you go to thepreparedmind.club and get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. If you think everything's going to be fine, if you think everything's going to handle itself and get taken care of, if you think government's going to stand up for the law like it didn't anywhere else on the planet, but you think America's different, as they do insider trading out of Congress, as they fucking lie, cheat, and steal, as Somalis are here fucking everything over, as girls in this country are being raped also, folks, and kidnapped and drugged and murdered and trafficked out of the country. Everything's fine, right? It's America. They can't do that to us. It's America. As if these fucking scumbags, whether we're talking about low lifes that are Muslims or low lifes that are Zionists, and even the elite Zionists in the World Economic Forum, you think they give a fuck about our Constitution? They don't give a shit about you or me. They don't. They want us to continue to do nothing. It is social engineering, period. Just like you're not allowed to say the N-word, right? Niggas don't be liking that. No, but right? That's just it. They control your thought. And then they encourage and allow people who don't like being called names to murder and beat the ever-loving snot out of people because they were offended. They were offended, so now you get your ass kicked because you offended them. But because they're offended, their crime of beating your ass or killing you, it's completely acceptable. That is exactly what's going on in Europe. It's exactly it. In fact, just this weekend again, a white teenage man in England, somewhere in the UK, was getting beaten, attacked, assaulted by a pack of feral fucking Muslims. And the cops ran in, not to arrest the Muslims, not to protect the boy, but to treat the boy like shit, arrest him on the spot, call him dirty fucking names. This bitch cop calls him a dick. Right? And they drag him off and arrest him. They completely ignore the assault that was going on, assume he's guilty and arrest him. That's what's coming for us. Unless you wake the fuck up and you recognize this is our 250th anniversary. And Big Dan says with a $2 super chat donation, happy 250th, fellow American patriots. Right? He was the first one to put that up there. Yes, he's first. First, yeah. Happy 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which I read the other night. Had some fun doing that. Thank you, Big Dan, once again for supporting the channel. Good God. Yeah, there's tons of comments. War has no emojis. I tell you what's happening, folks. Yeah, they're definitely yeah. Quite interesting here. Okay, I tell you what, folks. Yeah, it's scary times. I think that this anniversary, this 4th of July, this Independence Day anniversary, I think it's very important for us all as a country because, to a degree, it's united us and brought us together as a country. And when you unite Americans, you distinguish us from other countries, other cultures, other religions that are fucking terrible, that are failures, that are evil. Communism is a political and economic model that is evil as fuck and murdered 100 million people in the last 100 years. Islam and the Talmud are completely fucked up and are the opposite, the antithesis of what we teach in Western culture, Western morality, and Western law. Period. We have the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Their rule, the Talmudists and the Mohammedans, their rule is do unto others and don't get caught. Break any law you want as long as it benefits you and your religion. Lie, cheat, steal, and you're allowed to rape girls too as a punishment. And yes, go ahead and murder as long as it gets our belief system, whether it's Talmudism or Mohammedism. As long as we get what we want, fuck everyone else. That is not Western civilization. That is not the American civilization. That is not law. That is just fucking evil shit. All right, we've got another super chat just checked in, and we're going to take a look at that. And once again, Big Dan the Man with a $10 super chat donation. Thank you, Dan. He says, how about a military weapon that could launch way out of our orbit and latch onto a train car-sized asteroid, then alter its the course of the asteroid, and bam, your enemy just got hit from space. That very concept has been discussed for many different purposes. One of them was asteroids. A lot of them are full of very valuable minerals and metals, such as gold or titanium, copper, silver, right? Metals that are very difficult, elements that you can't get easily and inexpensively. They talked about literally launching rockets up and mining these asteroids. And they're like, well, the asteroid's going to circle and go out, and how do you get supplies and air and food, and how do you get the minerals from there? The other one was go up, capture an asteroid using XYZ technology, and bring it back and have it circle Earth in orbit, zero gravity orbit, much the way Mars has two moons that aren't really moons, Phobos and Deimos. That's the two moons, but they're really just very large asteroids. And looks like they were mining them potentially. Someone at some point, somewhere in ancient history, was mining asteroids. But that's the other idea. But then you look at the weaponized version. Now, in some sense, right, we've got the movie Armageddon. Great movie. The foreword or prologue was none other than Charlton Heston. But the movie had a lot of great actors, Bruce Willis being the biggest one amongst them. Other notable actors, Billy Bob Thornton, and a couple of other knuckleheads. Very entertaining, funny movie. But there was an asteroid size of Texas coming for Earth, and it was going to absolutely obliterate and kill everything on Earth and destroy it. Kind of like the KT boundary event from 65 million years ago that slammed into the Yucatan Peninsula and put up a dust cloud that killed all the dinosaurs. That's what history scientists say. Well, so in this movie, they had to blow it up with a nuclear bomb in order to stop it from hitting Earth. This movie called Armageddon. Well, yeah, what if we went up and used some technology or explosives or some weapon to redirect an asteroid, and with their science and their math, they could boom, 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 speed it up, slow it down, make sure that it hits Earth. Hits Earth in a particular spot at a particular time of day. So we hit the target, and and then say, well, that was just a natural disaster. Sorry about that. Whoops. That falls right along the same lines, Dan, as using weather as a weapon or creating earthquakes as a weapon. You know, it's right there in the whole, you don't know it, but I'm the enemy and I just got you and you can't blame me. Yep, it's definitely a possibility. Now, this right here, 1776, is the super chat donation I've been waiting to see, and it is G-Man checking in. He says, our first 250 years of the United States of America, that is, has been a struggle. I expect the next 250 to be a challenge, but we've proven we can do it. So let's go. Oh, you bet. And it was Thomas Jefferson who said the tree of liberty needs to be watered with the blood of patriots and tyrants every 20 years. What did he mean by that? Every 20 years, people need to die over this struggle, over this challenge to remain free and to keep government in its place, small and contained. And government is both institutions and people, whether they're elected or appointed. There needs to be their blood watering the roots of the tree of liberty, along with patriots, meaning we need to be willing to die for it. Now, what have Americans been willing to do for the last 250 years? Die to fight for our country and to fight for liberty and to fight for freedom and fight for what we think is right, but it's being ordered by politicians that may or may not give a fuck about us. Whether right or wrong, they're just going to do what they want. And as time has progressed, it's gotten to be more and more like that. More and more like that. At some point, Americans are going to say, you know what? World War I, World War II, that was great. Right? We supposedly stopped bad guys in Europe and the Pacific. But what really happened in World War I and World War II? Tens of millions. We're talking 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million white, Christian, Europeans, Americans, Canadians, and Australians died fighting each other. Over what? Have you ever really thought, what did we fight over? Why did we kill each other in World War I? Because the Archduke Francis Ferdinand was assassinated by a mafia organization called the Black Hand, which has its ties to, I believe, Khazaria. And World War II was fought against Hitler. And boy, folks, I know so much about this fucking subject. Every country that Hitler defeated, guess what the officers and enlisted men of those countries did? They put on the German uniform and they fought against Russia. They put on the uniform and fought against Russia on the Eastern Front because communism is far, far, far worse than what Germany was doing. What was Germany doing? Defeating communism. Communism was murdering its own people. Communism murdered, as I said, just the Russians alone, anywhere from 40 to 60 million of their own people. Once again, who, why, where, what. It's a struggle, and we've got this fight. We fought for other countries. We fought for what we thought was right. We're always fighting, Americans, but you know who we're not fighting for right now? Ourselves. We're not fighting for liberty. We're not fighting for freedom. We're not fighting for our country. We're not fighting for us. We end up fighting in the deserts, in the jungles, in the mountains, but not for our own country. When will we start doing that? When will we start fighting for what's right and for ourselves? Right? We've got our Australian brothers, we've got Canadian brothers, we've got our brothers in the British Isles. 1776, we don't hate England anymore. But we think about that king, that dickhead from 1776, King George. And we're like, we got all kinds of ire for him and his fucking redcoats and his judges and his governors and his magistrates and the entire lying fucking parliament back then. But we're fine with them now. So who is our enemy now? Who do we need to be fighting? Those that threaten liberty, freedom, our rights, who demand to own our country. And they want to take our resources, our water, our power, our wealth, and give it to themselves. Who are these people? World Economic Forum, central bankers, anti-American communist fucks, Muslims, racists everywhere that hate us because we're free. And when you're free, you can say what you want. And when you're free, you're armed. And they don't want a free-thinking, free-speaking, well-armed, well-trained, well-regulated militia. That is to say, the American people and all 1 billion of our guns and God knows how many billions of rounds of ammo. They don't like that. So they're trying to slowly destroy us, peck us away, and they've invited in every enemy that makes what King George did leading up to 1776 seem small potatoes. He brought in some European mercenaries, he brought in his redcoats, and he brought in these savage North American Indians to kill colonists left and right, killing, just like is going on in England today, in Scotland, in Ireland, in France, in Spain, in Italy, in Portugal, in Germany, in Austria, and the Netherlands, and Sweden, and Norway, and Finland, right? They're doing it again. They're destroying us using savage fucks. And the government that is allowing this and pushing it are the same as the redcoats. The police, the judges, the prosecutors, that is lawyers, that are allowing this and pushing it, they're right there side by side with the bad guys. Just like the British redcoats and their mercenaries and the Indians were killing American colonists and raping them and burning their farms and destroying their towns, sinking their ships, stealing their food. It's not a joke. It's history, and it's real. And next we've got Viking checking in with a $20 super chat donation. Thank you, Viking. Good to see you this week. And he said, hey, Disclosure Day will become a reality very soon. Dr. Stephen Greer made that quite clear. This will change the world as we know it. Hold on to your thoughts, Patty. Viking, you're changing the subject, man. Your prerogative. I love it. Disclosure Day, meaning admitting there's aliens in little spaceships, aliens in their motherships, aliens who live underground in bases, aliens who have undersea bases, aliens that have been with us. If you read the Bible, going back 4,500, 5,000 years of history, records aliens. And some people call them, well, spirits, interdimensional beings, angels, all kinds of different names for them. But yeah, Disclosure Day. Dr. Stephen Greer, by the way, folks, if you don't know who he is, he has been a prominent figure in the disclosure alien public movement because he's a doctor. They relied, the disclosure folks, on everyone, going, hey, if a doctor says this, it must be true, or it could be true, and shouldn't we believe him? And let's listen to what he has to say. Stephen Greer is a lightning rod for negative and positive attention, but he is saying the world as we know is going to change. Now, someone else who's in the world of UFOs, right, is Richard Dolan, who is an intellectual. He's written a lot of books on UFOs, ufology, from the spaceships to everything about it. He said that disclosure is impossible and disclosure is inevitable, meaning it can't happen, but there's no way to stop it. That's kind of an interesting take he had, and he explains it ad nauseum, and he has over the years. Basically, it's looking like it's coming. Now, my thinking, my perspective on this is this very thing. And this applies to self-defense, religion, law, order, anything and everything. Government does not give up information. It doesn't pick a side. It doesn't choose unless it benefits that government or that person in government. So if government is going to disclose anything, Mr. Viking, it's only because it benefits government in some way. And what does government want? It wants wealth so it can spend money where it wants, and it wants control or power over people. So if the United States government or the Canadian government, which is also involved in this, and the Australian government, which is definitely involved in the alien question, and certainly the British government and the MOD, and of course Europe, everyone, it's control. They want to use the information, this disclosure, to control people's thoughts, feelings, behavior, decisions, wealth, everything. Well, we can't have this Constitution written by a bunch of people that have been dead for at least 200 years. We can't have that because now we have little green men running around and we want to seem like we're really civilized. So keep sending drones into Russia and bombing school children, and Israel keep bombing Christians and churches and killing women and children by assassinating them. And then over in Iran, drop some more bombs on a school and do this and do that and do all these awful things, and then claim the aliens only want to deal with the civilized species. They probably look down at Earth and go, what a bunch of fucking wackos. The people in charge anyway. Geez, how bad are the people if they put these fucking clowns in charge? Yeah, they probably look at all of us and go, Scotty, there's no intelligent life here. Beam me back up. But, you know, and then some people think that aliens are demons, evil. I mean, they fly all the way across the universe, supposedly, to sneak into my house in the middle of the night, use one of their brain tasers on me or you or anyone, transport you, levitate you up into the ship, and then probe your ass for hours on end. Really? You had to fly across the universe to probe people? Hell, you could go to San Francisco, New York City. There'd be plenty of faggots there that would love to be probed by you guys, and no one would be offended. Okay. We got Patty Hamilton checking in with a $5 super chat donation. And she writes, John, I tried to post, but it would not let me post anything regarding racial tensions. Yeah, you have to be very clever, Patty, to write down anything that could be offensive, right? So, you know, you have to misspell things, spell it backwards. You know, it's very tricky to do. Very, very tricky. I'm sorry that you've had so much trouble with it. But yeah, that's their way of controlling the narrative. Now, the words that come out of my mouth, for some reason, I'm allowed to speak. Now, I've tried writing things in the comments section, and it won't let me. And I'm like, it's my fucking channel. It just won't let you. So you have to use code words. And the other thing is, you know, just sending information through to Jolene via email. And that can happen anytime during the week, and even sometimes during the show, to get information to me. It's very difficult, but I appreciate, 1, the support, 2, the effort, and 3, the lesson is, yeah, they don't want us talking not just about either Israel or Muslims. They don't want us talking about racial tensions, even though the media and the government and these non-government organizations and these fucking racists out here are doing nothing but pushing racial tensions on us. And they're not silenced, and they're not censored, and they're not punished, and they're not destroyed for what they're doing. But you could be. Anyways, Patty, be careful, be safe. I appreciate the great support. And let's move on if we shall. We've got G-Man checking in with a $50 super chat donation. You know what that calls for? That calls for a scotch. I've got me an 18-year small batch single malt Glenfiddich right here, folks, and it's going to go down smooth. The end of a 2-hour show, folks. Take your breath away, just like this, only this is like mother's milk. Thank you, G-Man, and we'll get to your comments here momentarily. Semper Fi, G-Man. He says, classic movie I watched again, 1776. A G-rated movie that is surprisingly mature and very inspiring, very uplifting. Maintain your morale. That's not just for me. It's for everybody. Everyone, maintain your morale. Keep your spirits up. Believe in America. Believe in freedom. And God bless, says G-Man. G-Man, that's a great thing. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the great support and also the sentiment. Now, we're going to step over to Blue Cord Devil, and he's doing a $50 super chat donation. And here we go. Same 18-year single malt scotch, $50 donations. Do just that, folks. Buy me a scotch and help support and pay the bills to keep the show going. The show must go on. Blue Cord Devil writes, peace and prayers, John, Jolene, Ooman, and everyone else. Watch your six means watch your back. Watch out behind you, next to you, in front of you. We are surrounded by enemies. Stay calm. There's no reason to get overly excited. Stay armed. Protect yourself. Protect others. If we can make it through these next few years, i.e. 2030, maybe we'll have a chance for another 250 years. Carry your freedom seeds dipped in lard, preferably pig lard. Here you are, Blue Cord Devil. Thank you, sir. I've got some comments on this as well. two in a row. You feel it pretty good. Thank you, Blue Cord. Now, he says, if we can make it through these next few years to 2030. Okay, follow me here. 2026, 27, 28, 29, 30. If we can hold on another 5 years, we might make it. Folks, the Revolutionary War, 1776, 77, 78, 79, 80. Right? 1780. Now, the war was won. It wasn't won. It was almost lost. So we finally came back. The English, Cornwallis, yada, yada, they all just ended up, they lost, right? Supposedly. Well, 1780, but we didn't have a constitution until 1789. We were in a state of shit it's the fan chaos post-war for almost 10 fucking years. So I know what you're saying, Blue Cord, right? We've got a fight, and the fight is now started. This pushback on all things illegal, exposing the enemies of civilization, of our Constitution, of our culture and traditions, and against our understandably unified basic religious beliefs in Christianity. These other religions, these other thinkers, they're completely disloyal to America and loyal to no one but themselves. These are the globalist Zionists. They make money off of war. They make money off of peace. Then they make money off of war and money off of peace. They don't give a fuck about any of us. It's always about destruction. So we have to borrow money from them to rebuild our cities, our factories, our farms, our lives, our homes, everything. Every time we destroy ourselves with war, they make money during the war, and then we have to borrow money from them after the war. Declaration of Independence, Constitution, War of 1812, the 1840s, followed by, shortly after that, the Civil War in the 1860s. Banks and foreigners getting involved in our countries, getting us to fight and destroy and kill each other so they can benefit. It's the same fucking game, and it's the same people. Literally the same people. George H.W. Bush did not lie when he said what he said. When he said it's a brave new world, right? Brave new world order, right? 1,000 points of light. When we're successful, and we will be. That fucking clown. Oh, yeah. To end the show, Jay McSkinnis shows up, and he taps that $3 super sticker with another $2 one. Thank you, Mr. McSkinnis. And we are at 2 hours and 10 minutes, folks. a good long show on this July 4th Zoo 2026 Sunday Night Live. It's what we do every week, but I'll be back tomorrow morning, 0:30, hopefully, to get you what happened. Wake up. It's going to keep going, folks. Wake up. The fight is on. Be prepared. Be a prepared vigilante. Thank you again, Mr. T, for that, and for everything that all of you do. Thank you all. We need to stay vigilant, and being prepared is part of being vigilant. I'm not calling for vigilantism, which is taking the law back from the government that has refused to do its job and you applying the law yourself. That is vigilantism. When government fails, we take care of it ourselves. That's why government's like, no, you can't do it. Trust me, I've experienced this personally. My neighbor did this. He calls the police. He says, hey, there's a fucking jackass out here on my property. This is ranch land, Northern California. There's a jackass. There's a jerk out here. He's pissing me off. And they're like, so we don't care. And so this guy, his name was Ray. He says, I'm getting my gun and I'm going to go take care of the problem because this guy is nothing but trouble. I've dealt with him before. And the police are like, no, don't get your gun. Don't do anything. We'll be right out less than 5 minutes. Out in the middle of fucking nowhere. They had sheriff's deputies roll up on the property and get rid of the offending asshole. They don't want you taking the law into your own hands because you'll realize that you don't need them. We don't need government. Government needs us. The only thing we need government to do is to coin silver and gold for currency, set up postal roads, and make sure we have military protection against being invaded and to protect our borders from being fucking invaded and to make sure we don't get screwed over by other countries in trade deals. We need to make sure foreigners stay the fuck out, whether it's the people or their corporations or their governments. Get the fuck out of our country. You don't get to be involved with us unless you go through a trade route and it's all above board and we all know it and see it. That's how this goes, folks. But what do we have? What the hell is that about? God bless America. Happy birthday to America. We're all old enough now. We're not little kids. America hasn't been around 5 years. We know how to fix the problems. We need to wake the fuck up. We need to get prepared. And we need to take proper, decent, lawful action against the enemies of our country, whithersoever they happen to be, but especially domestic enemies and traitors. We need to get them out and seal our country up and protect it. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. I'll see you guys tomorrow.